Another thing that people will probably be familiar with are supersets. So doing one exercise and then another exercise directly after with minimal or no rest in between. Now there are three real categories of ways to do supersets. One is agonist agonist. That'd be like doing a bench press and then dumbbell bench press. You're doing the same muscle groups back to back. Generally don't recommend that because what it does is it limits the amount of volume that people can do at a given level of effort. And so it's basically just reduced training is what you see there. People are like, oh, I got a sick pump. I'm like, well, the pump is cool, but the actual efficacy of doing reduced volume, particularly over a long period of time, is not exactly what you'd want. It just feels harder, more fatigue, etc. Agonist and antagonist supersets, so doing something like a bench press followed by a seated row, on the other hand, that doesn't actually seem to reduce the amount of training volume that people can do at all. So that can be a pretty useful situation if people can set up, those two stations and go back and forth between them. So the way that I do that currently is I'll do something like my bench press set, and then I'll go over and I'll do the rowing exercise that I've had to do, and then I'll rest 2 or 3 minutes in between sets, and my performance has been about the same and less time taken overall because I'm simultaneously doing two exercises. And the third setup, which is probably the one that you've used the most, is sort of this alternate peripheral, which is a dumb name, terrible
Yeah,
name, doesn't
agree.
mean anything, but it'd be like doing a squat and then an overhead press, for example, or squat and then a bench press, or deadlift and chin ups. It's like, okay, the same muscle groups at all, unrelated, different movement patterns, but still two different exercises that you could do back to back.
Yeah, that's for sure my preferred, and I even do that with accessory type work as well, even in my routine training, because I find that less interesting in general. So I'll do some, I don't know, lat pull down or a seated cable row, and then alternate that with like a leg extension or something like that. So either way, yeah, I like alternating separate body parts, and you can move through those relatively quickly and get a good stimulus.